I'm on my cell phone, so this is all I can do. I can't get my computer at home to open, so
that's okay. We'll make it work. Well, first of all, congratulations. How was that having to watch that from home?
I wasn't at home. We have a command center at the race shop, and that's where I've been watching the races. That's where all of our engineers and everyone called the race from, and they actually made the call from the command center to do what they did to both cars. So it was pretty cool to be in there and watch how everything works and how it works from the command center. I've been watching all the races there, and they probably won't let me come back to another race for a while now.
All right. Well, we're going to roll straight into questions. So thanks for joining us. We're going to take our first question from Jeff from Empire Sports. Jeff, go ahead with your question.
Hi, Richard. Congratulations on the win today. Obviously, today might mean just a little more because Austin picks up his first win in 88 Cup Series races. How does that make you feel, and how proud are you of the developments Austin has made from last year to this one?
I mean, it's great. You know, the whole team, Chevy's did a great job giving us a really good car, and having Tyler Reddick there to work with. He's got a teammate that he's really working good with, and to see both those guys racing for the win, I knew they weren't going to. I was hoping they didn't wreck each other, but it was pretty cool to see RCR in the front right.
How crucial was it to reunite Austin with Justin Alexander, crew chief?
Oh, it's great. You know, I've always believed strongly in Justin from day one, and he believes in Austin, and Austin believes in him, and that's what you got to have. You look back at all the greats throughout the time. I look back at the Earnhardt years with the crew chiefs he had, Chad and Jimmy Johnson, the different people, how they've worked together, and that's what Austin's needed, was someone like this to work with.
Awesome. Thank you, Richard. Congratulations.
Thank you very much.
Our next question from Dustin Long. Dustin, go ahead with your question.
Thank you. A couple things. Richard, just first off, this is the first 1-2 finish for your organization since 2011. To get Austin back in victory lane, just what does this day mean for you? What does this day mean for the organization?
Well, it means a tremendous amount, Dustin, because, you know, we've struggled, and everyone knows that. But Chevy has really worked hard and put together a great car for us. And to be able to go out and be able to win in a Chevy and be 1-2 today, it meant a lot. And for RCR and ECR, we've got so many partners that stuck with us through the whole thing, and to be able to have them bring the win home in a second place finish for Cat, you know, it's just amazing.
Also, just want to ask you have you even been to a race since the season resumed? I'm assuming you probably were at the Charlotte races because of you could have been in the condo. I'm just curious if you're at Darlington or any place else since, or have you just been stuck at home or the command center, what that's been like, since you're one who usually is at the track most weekends?
Yeah, I really miss the people around the racetrack, the fans. That's my biggest miss, and the racing. But yeah, it's different. I went there, and it seemed like it was one more that I went somewhere, but that was the big one, was Charlotte. I was there for both of those races.
What was that like? What was that like, just to be there with nobody there?
It was different. You know, it's really different, but it's great that my phone has been blowing up. I've got over 200 texts. My voicemail's full. That means a lot of folks are watching us, people I didn't even realize that were watching races, and to give them live entertainment, and for NASCAR to be the first to bring live entertainment back, it's great, and the fans are loving it.
Thank you.
Thank you, Dustin.
Okay, our next question is going to come from Jordan Bianchi. Jordan, go ahead with your question.
Richard, why do you think Austin is not maybe given the credit that he maybe otherwise deserves as a driver?
You know, I don't know. You know, I think, you know, you get in a 3-car behind Dale Earnhardt, and, you know, people says, well, your granddaddy gives you this, but he had to earn it, no different than Ty Dillon. They had to earn their right to drive these cars, and I told him that. I think maybe that made a little of it, and we haven't given him the cars that he needed. I'll never forget 98 when Dale Earnhardt came to and said, I want to retire. He said, it's me. I said, no, it isn't, Dale. We're not giving you the cars. And we haven't really gave him the cars that he needs until this year. And he and Tyler Reddick will win a race before the year's out.
Thank you.
Okay, we're going to take our next question from Dustin Albino. Dustin, go ahead.
Yeah, Richard, congrats on the win. You just mentioned Tyler Reddick. How is he better the team this year? Obviously coming into the series with a lot of hype with consecutive Xfinity titles.
You know, I think just his attitude and what he brings, the pep he's got in his step, it follows through the whole thing. He and Austin have a really good relationship, and I think that helps Austin as well. Austin has someone now that Austin drives off of being competitive, and now he's got somebody that's going to push him, and both of them are going to do well for sure.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Okay, our next question is going to come from Jerry Jordan. Jerry, go ahead.
Hey, Richard, just want to ask you your thoughts over the last 26 laps and multiple restarts. Either Tyler or Austin had to hold off Joey Logano and Kyle Busch. You know, what was going through your head? And at any point were you like trying to, you know, give advice subconsciously to Austin throughout those final laps?
You know, it was a nail biter for sure. You know, when we had that big lead there, when Austin jumped out there and got him a good lead, then the caution come out and said, wow, man, we didn't need that. Had to restart, did good. He had 3 restarts and was able to maintain and win the race. And Tyler was right there with him. That showed that both of them had cars that were capable to go. But for him to beat the best of the best today, that shows where RCR is with both of our drivers.
Thank you, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay, we'll take our next question from Stephen Conley with PRN. Stephen, go ahead.
Richard, obviously this year without the practice due to the pandemic, do you feel that your teams have benefited maybe from a little bit less of that practice with just everything being set up to shop, showing up to race, or do you guys feel that you need that back?
No, I think the fans like it. I think if you look with the amount of technology that every team has today, or the majority of the teams, the technology is right there for everyone to come out and run really good. We've missed it a time or two, but we've been able to adjust back in. And just like today, we're a little off at the start and came right back in, and we're able to pull it off.
And do you feel that with Austin's wins now puts him into the playoffs, do you feel that this team is capable of making that deep run?
You know, we sure plan on it. We've talked about it all year. And we think with everything that's going on, and it depends on how the stages and everything run, we feel that we can be right there for the win at the end of the day. Racing, we want to get you first, you got to get in. That was one goal. Next, you got to make it to the next round. And each time you got to make it to the round. And I think if we can get there to the final 4, we may have a great chance.
Thank you.
Okay, we're going to take our next question from Randy Kovitz. Randy, go ahead.
Yeah, Richard, I was going to bring that up too, as far as it's been a while since you've gone that next round and you've made playoffs, but it's been quite since Ryan Newman, I guess, 6 years ago, that you've really been a contender. What's going to make this team a contender after all these years kind of watching Gibbs and Hendrick and everybody else?
Yeah, I think this year Chevy has gave us a lot better race car. We've got a lot better race car than we've had in the past. And I think that's going to be the difference this year and in the past.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you, Randy.
Okay, we're going to take one final question here from Bozzy. Bozzy, go ahead.
Good afternoon, Mr. Childress. You mentioned that you were in the command center for the final moments of the race, and you kind of mentioned technology in one of the earlier answers. I know that you guys have shared how you're open, and Andy Petrie has been pretty forward-thinking going decades back with trying new stuff. And I know you guys, based on recent documentaries and information shared, have used artificial intelligence from places like Pit Row. as an old school racer, what has kind of been your view of that, and how has it helped your organization?
You know, I got to go back to Eric Warren. Eric is a doctor. He's a very, and not that Andy's had a lot to do with it, but we had this put in place. Eric wanted to put it in, and we won the race with Ryan Newman with it. And today the pit row and all the technology called for both teams to do what we did there at the end. And it definitely paid off for us. Pit row has been a great thing. And I really enjoy it. I can actually see a lot more right there than I can at the, I can see a lot more right there than I can at the racetrack, actually, and keep up with what every other car is doing. We can listen to every car. We know where they're at. We know their strategy. We know when they have to pit, how far they can go. So it's Formula One type technology, and it's really working great.
So in addition to things like the new body, do you believe that you guys being early adopters of that has helped you in the last, this year and the last couple of years to kind of get ahead?
Was that, excuse me, ask me that one more time.
With you guys being early adopters of that and the technology building up over time, has that been something that has kind of helped you get ahead recently and have cars that are running up front compared to, say, like the last year versus this year?
Yeah, I think it really helps us as far as knowing what our cars are doing and what some of our competition's doing. But I think the key to it is we've got a lot better car this year than we've had in the last several years. Not that the cars are that bad, but this car is closer to what the other manufacturers that we're racing is doing.
That makes sense. And that was kind of the direction I was trying to go. I just got it mixed up a little bit. I appreciate your time.
Thank you. Thank you all.
Thank you.
Okay, Richard, we are